Hello, welcome to my message of the day. And I really want to wish everyone a blessed solstice, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and all the other, whatever your denomination is. I wish you lots of love and light and peace. Lots of peace. Uh, Today, I just kind of want to reflect for a minute because this is a very difficult time of year. I think for almost everyone, whether you love it or hate it, it's a difficult time of year. So take a deep breath and try to align your thoughts. Try to figure out who you are, who it is you're trying to please during this holiday season. Now, I had an interesting conversation yesterday with one of my friends, and this particular friend, we have an interesting dynamic because we actually met in grade one over 50 years ago, and as our lives have gone on for over half a century, we've ebbed and flowed in and out of each other's lives and, lived in different places. We grew up in a very different town than where we both have ended up here in Toronto and have been reconnecting a little more in recent years as we've gotten older. And one of the things we talked about yesterday was the difficulty in letting go of toxic friendships. Um, I know I'm not special or unique in some of the choices I made in my life with regard to people I've trusted, people I've loved, and people I aligned myself with. And ultimately, this year was a very hard year, and I've discussed it before about that Scorpio in Mercury retrograde and all the planetary action we had in recent months has led to total self-discovery for most of us. This was a year for great self-discovery, whether you discovered things about yourself you loved or that you hated or that you need to work on. And for me, my most stunning revelation was even though I thought I had kind of understood who toxic people are or what toxic people are, I realized I still was aligning myself with them. And even though I would often find excuses not to hang around with these people when it was expected professionally that I would, and I would find reasons not to, I didn't really understand in the big picture that I was really trying to avoid toxic things. I thought I would just it just didn't feel right about I felt I was being bullied or they didn't understand me or something like that. And now that some things have blown up and come out into the open, I do understand totally that our values didn't align, and that's where I was always feeling kind of the friction for years and years. And I'm talking about people that have been in my life for over 20 years, maybe even 30. And there's several of them. And this year was a big year of revelations for like, wow, I'm a grown up now, and I really, life is short, time is short. Alzheimer's runs in my family, and I need to grab onto every living, redeemable memory that I have. And maybe it is time to really say goodbye to people that really didn't have my best interests or even their own best interests at heart, because they're on their own learning path and they have to face themselves in their own mirrors and live with their own repercussions from actions they have or have not taken. And so this holiday season, my roundabout way is saying, do not be afraid to stand up for your own values and morals. To get back to the conversation with my friend, who we've ebbed and flowed out of 50 years, but we were discussing maybe one of the reasons we keep reconnecting and enjoying each other is that we did grow up with the same moral code. We did grow up with the same values. And even though in her family she was raised by very religious parents and ultimately rebelled, and she does her own thing, whereas my parents were agnostic and they let me kind of explore my own way. It really proves to both of us, and we didn't talk about this, but in my own head, I'm thinking that an organized religion doesn't matter. What ultimately matters, which I think most people understand at the end of the day, especially pagans, the real thing that matters at the end of the day is your core belief system and your moral ground and your values. And whatever your values and belief systems are, you need to align yourself with people with the same headspace, or you're not being authentic. And of course, I like to think my values and morals are fantastic, but I've come a long way. It's been a very rough 57 years for me to discover what my true belief system is, what my true moral system is, and where I used to let people come through the boundaries of what I thought was right. Now I'm starting to realize I don't have to let people cross the boundaries. I can learn to say no, and I have been learning to say no. And like I said, I have learned that I do need to cut people out of my life, even though, I really considered them in my circle, and we've done good things for each other over the years. But at the end of the day, when I look at the actual value systems, they're not aligning. And of course, people can change. We all can change, and maybe some of these people will find a common ground again. But at the end of the day, when you're going through holidays, buying gifts and going visiting and all that, do not be afraid to say no. And do not be afraid to start the new year with really aligning yourself with your own value system and realizing that a lot of people do judge us by the friends we keep or don't keep, or who we associate with, whether we know it or not. I'm certainly am not actively aware of people shunning me because of some of my associates, but I am also very much aware that I'm never invited anywhere anymore. And my Facebook friends list keeps falling off. But at any rate, I know what my true core values are, and I'm very happy with them. And so you embrace your own and have a fantastic day.